Sometimes even beyond those categories, we all live in our private world of pain, confusion and struggles, and sometimes categories become easier to talk about than the reality that lies behind it in our hearts and in our bodies. We live in this flesh, and the flesh will always be contrary to the spirit. And that's why the most important thing to know is when you look at Romans chapter 7, for example, Paul talks about this soul struggle. That which I want to do, I don't do. That which I don't want to do, I do. That which I end up doing, I despise. Who shall deliver me from this body of death? And then Romans 8 begins with how we are more than conquerors through him who loved us, and we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. He goes on to teach elsewhere and how all things work together for the good to those who love God. So rather than looking at particular issues, I think we need to look at our own hearts. And unless that indwelling presence of God, the Holy Spirit, is within us, all of our problems will become multiplied. And with His strength, those issues become minimized and the victory becomes maximized. So I would say the indwelling presence of Christ is the answer to whatever challenge we are facing. If we look at time as a gift, and eternity is what ultimately awaits, in many ways time is a loan. We don't have it permanently. It is eternity that in the most real sense is the gift. Always measure the use of time against the backdrop of eternity. And if you do that, then you guard your steps, you guard your hands, you guard your eyes, you guard where you go. One of the key things in life is this, your eyes, the eye gate. And Jesus says that the eye is the lamp of the body. And if the light within you becomes darkness, how great is the darkness indeed. Don't be seduced by what you see. Take hold of that which is eternal and known to be true. All these seductions, all these rabbit-chasing boulevards along the way, the enemy of our souls uses them to think there's no price to be paid. It's simply not true. There's a cost to everything. The difference between good pleasure and bad pleasure is this. For good pleasure, you pay the price before you enjoy it. For bad pleasure, you pay the price after you enjoy it. So the price has to be paid. Pay it the right way before. It's a very good question, and sometimes a calling is hard to really figure out. So let me put it this way. A calling comprises of at least 4 components. On the inside, there is the push. Something within you drives you in a certain direction. And then on the outside, there is the pull that pulls you towards that. And then you have the opportunities that come your way for the push and the pull. And in those opportunities, the key element is the people you meet. So the push, the pull, the opportunities. And the last thing I have to say to you is that gifting has to be in keeping with what you are doing. So when you pull these 4 components together, the conviction of what is pushing you, the pull that comes from the outside, the platform or the opportunities that come, and the gifting. So I would say, especially in your younger days, don't settle just for a job. Ask yourself, what is it that is the passion of your heart that you will feel most fulfilled doing for the glory of God?